I feel like a lot of people, they have, like we were talking right before we started filming, we were talking about that football player. What'd you guys say? Was that Georgia?
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of people who are struggling mentally, like Casey, I commend you for not staying in that drinking trap, because you could have created that same downward spiral that we talk about. It sounds like you were kind of in there. What got you out of that? Was it having this organization? Like, if you didn't have the organization, would you still be drinking? What was the point that you said, I got to put this shit down. I got to put this poison down. I got to get myself right.
Initially, my kids.
Yeah.
Like, it stems from a lot of things going on in the world today.
Yep.
Like, the government, whatever, everything. We got to build and show the way for the future.
Yep.
And my kids are young, 9, 8, 7, and 5. I'm sorry,
You got
9,
4
8.
kids?
Yeah.
Jesus,
Yeah,
man.
3 boys and a girl.
Good night.
9.
At least you got that boy.
Yeah. 3 boys and a girl.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you
Yeah.
said 3 girls and a boy.
Yeah.
Fuck.
No.
I'm listening to me. I got
Yeah,
2 girls.
Yeah,
so.
my girl's the youngest. But looking at them and being like, there's got to be like there's nobody else is gonna teach them show them the way. So
Yeah.
I wasn't necessarily shown the way growing up. My father's military, retired. He was deployed most of the time. My parents struggled to make ends meet and, worked as much as they could just to provide food for us. We moved around a bunch of times. But nobody was like, we were talking earlier, that guidance, that little bit of a push, that guidance, say, hey, don't fucking touch that. You know what I mean? Like, you need to stay on it constantly.
For sure. And then you even disconnecting from alcohol, you don't even realize that these kids now, it's just not something that's on their radar. So by the time they get into these like trying stuff out type stages and shit, like they might even just be saying no because dad doesn't. You know, like that's the stuff like we talk about leading by example a lot. It can go the other way too, because if every day dad got home from work, he's crushing beers, he's pissed off, he does the same thing. By the time they get 17, 18, 21, it's on, dude. It's game time.
Yeah.
Where it was a similar story for me. We were talking about Zach earlier. I put up a post yesterday that Bradley Cooper shared, that he got himself sober. So I put up a post and I said my 3 friends called me on a 4-way call and told me it was time for me to stop drinking. Well, my son was 2 months old. So that between the call from them and that little face, that was all I needed. But without that call and without that little face, I don't know where I would be today.
Yeah, and it's crazy because it's like when you start doing these things, like I'm sure I look like an idiot to my kids. Like when I started doing cold plunges, dad's going outside in 35-degree weather, jumping in a cold tub. What is he, an idiot? Like, and I started doing it, but I was doing it very repetitively. And next thing you know, they're like, "Oh, we're gonna get in with you.
Yep,
we're gonna do it too." And I'm like, "All right, well, let's go." And I'm just constantly on them, and I stay on them. And if that's what I got to do, that's what I got to do. You know what I mean?
That's amazing.